Hey, this is Luis Martin, the art engineer. Join me. I'm gonna have a one-on-one collage therapy session with artist Cynthia Jasmin. She's been gracious enough to allow me to record her to share this with you and show you what happens in a one-on-one session. It's cathartic, it's fun, and it's art making at its best. We're gonna have a conversation with our hands, with our words, and see where it takes us. So press the subscribe button, and book a session. I hope to see you in the studio. Hey, Cynthia.
Hey, how's it going, Lee?
I'm so good. I'm so happy to see you, and thank you for hanging out with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me as well. I'm really excited.
Yeah, so this is a collage therapy session. So we're going to have a conversation with our hands and our words. And to get started, so you have a collage kit, correct?
Yes, I recently opened it today.
Perfect. So in order to have this conversation, I'm wondering, what are some of the things that you'd like to talk about? What are some of the issues that you're dealing with or things you're curious about in your practice right now?
Well, I think I just want to I've gotten from a low place and now I'm in a better place. So I think just understanding how to stay there and keeping the momentum of not letting myself go down so far that it takes me so much longer to come back up right where I want to be again. Because I know we go up in hills and stuff, and sometimes when we go too low, you're like, how do I get out of that? So within that, like, how do I just stay afloat and keep going higher?
I love that. That's such a great question. And congratulations on coming back up, you know?
I know. I'm so excited.
Well, and the truth of the matter is, I think you can stay there for most of the time, you know. But yeah, but sometimes we definitely are brought down for whatever reason, astrological, moon signs, or just
Yes.
society,
Life.
life. Yeah. So yeah, let's play. So to get started, why don't you go through your collage kit and kind of leaf through it, and take your time and kind of as you're going through it, can you name some of the things that catch your eye? Just like you're flipping through a magazine. What are you seeing that
Mhm.
you really like? I have my coffee, by the way.
Me too. I have some as well. It's early in the morning. I'm really enjoying these black and white peanut guys that you sent me.
Aren't
I
they?
think and this really big one is so nice. I like that. You sent me some color ones too, but I think I'm more attracted to the black and white ones.
Cool. What else do you see?
Oh, this is really creepy. Look at this. This one's super creepy. I enjoy it, but it gives me like feelings.
Love that.
I also have like a weird hole phobia, so it also gives me that kind of like it's not a hole, but it's like a black empty space. So it gives me that. That's why maybe why.
I love that. Oh, you're very aware. That's great.
Um, oh, I like this one a lot.
Oh, wow. That's so bizarre. I love that. Can you describe that?
Um, it's like kind of looking into the abyss from like a different person. Like I feel like that person is staring into something unknown, and like the back is kind of like what are they looking for? I really like this one. This one's pretty cool.
Well, yeah. Keep talking. I'm already wanting to like dive into that. Keep going.
I this one was sent to me like this, and I like it in half. Um, but it's a full like water glass with flowers and stuff. But I think I enjoy how it's two in one in my head. Then I one was like, it's nice, but it's not that nice.
You know what you like. That's really important.
Not that it isn't nice, but for my like I guess feelings at the moment. Oh, I didn't see this one. Again, this one. So because of the way the package is sent to me, I see different images. Like, is the real thing Coke? Like that takes you to different places. Like, what kind of Coke are you talking about? I was like, okay. But then you open this side and it kind of like correlates too, because quote unquote, like not that I don't think hippies did coke, but like here are the hippies, and it's like, oh, did they do coke or just like weed? Who knows? LSD and all that stuff. So it kind of like, that's where that took me.
Subliminal advertising.
Oh, this one's great.
What is it?
Have you been to what's that place in the Hudson Valley with the Storm King Art Center?
Yes, absolutely.
So that reminded me of Storm King Art Center. Again, this one I do not like because of the holes.
Oh, that's really interesting that you got more than one image with a hole.
Yeah, I was like, no, thank you.
Might be a sign.
So I was like, no, thank you. And then let's see, what else did I get? Oh, these are very pretty. I think they're too pretty for me at the moment, though. Like, they're too bright. Not that I'm not like in a good place, but maybe I'm not in as a good place as I think. But just looking at imagery of like how bright and pretty and like picnicky. So maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. Who knows?
Maybe it needs some holes.
No. I really like this one as well. I just like the image. I don't know that I have much to say about it, but I think it would be a good like layer or like cut out a shape out of it to make a thing.
Awesome. That's fantastic. That's a great start.
Yeah.
So, can you grab the one that resonates with you the most and start cutting it up and see what comes out of it? And I'll pretend to collage myself.
Sounds great. Ooh.
Which one are you gonna pick?
Can you guess?
The Abyss.
Yes. Oh, that's so scary.
So that really resonated with our conversation.
Yeah, it really did.
Because not only were you while you were showing me that, it also blended and kind of corresponded to the two mannequins behind you, to the figures. It's the same texture and the same color.
Interesting.
Do you see the correlation?
I do.
So cut it out.
That's so weird. All right.
So cut it out. And as you're doing that, can you tell me a little bit about your first experience with art making? What was that like?
I've been making art since I've always been in art classes ever since like art club, like since elementary school. I've always been in like the after school, and like one of the biggest things I think that I remember from art, like one of my first like oh, maybe two. Well, I'll do the other one. One of the ones that I'm thinking about is I had an art teacher. Her name was Miss Knight. And we had an art club, and this was 4th grade, I think. And we would do murals around the school, and the Nutcracker was showing. I'm from Las Vegas. So the Nutcracker was showing, and she picked like 10 of us and took us to see the show. And I think it just was like, this is so cool. Like there's other forms of art. Because I think in my brain at one point, art was just very visual as opposed to all the other ways that it can be. So I think that's one of the first like experiences that really was like, this is also art. And her art room was just crazy and kooky, and like she was a crazy kooky old lady. And then I went to a middle school and I applied for music, and she got so mad at me that I didn't apply for art, which is really funny because I'm still doing art. So, but in that sense.
Do you stay in touch with her?
No, I lost touch with her. It's been over like 20 years or something, 25 years. I don't know,
That's really interesting. And what were you playing when you studied music?
I played the violin.
Do you still
I played
play?
for 3 years. Not as much. I try once in a blue, but then I get frustrated because I'm not as good anymore, just because I haven't practiced.
That's so cool. Now, can you describe your art practice in 3 words? And don't think about it too much. We're just cutting and we're having conversations. Just say whatever comes to mind. 3 words that describes your art practice right now.
Excitement.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it? I don't know. I'm excited right now. Um,
Good place to be.
but I'm also like a little scared at the ones like that resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, wait, maybe I haven't looked into my feelings.
Yeah.
You know, when you like, maybe I'm just so caught up in the whirlwind of this uphill that when like it stops, maybe I'm not looking forward to that part. Get
Yeah.
out of here, Luis. Oh my God, making me talk about my feelings.
Yeah, that's why I called you over. Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. When you're so used to something and it changes, it really rocks your world, right? So personally, I've been with my husband for 20 years, and when I first met him, he never made me feel stupid. And I do stupid things. Like, I mean, we've tried to set up this thing, and I was like, "Wait, what's your number? I sent you an invitation for 2:30 in the morning." You're like, "Huh?"
Am I
So
supposed to get up that early?
yes, so I do stuff like that, and people have responses. The people I surround myself are kind now, but before I think I was much more acceptant of people who would make me feel stupid because I thought, oh, they're right, I'm wrong, right? So then when you have people who appreciate you and don't make you feel stupid, or now you're in a positive area, you're scared. You're like, what am I doing here? Like, do I even belong in this environment? So it's kind of adjusting your expectations to being like, you know what? I belong here. It's not gonna, and that someone's not gonna just come and like, put something over my head and take me to the dark place, right?
I mean, you never know. You never know.
Well, you know what's funny? Can you tell me a little bit about the feelings that you get when you're making art? If it were a song, if you could play a soundtrack to your art making, what songs would you listen to?
Well, I right now, like the certain music or the certain songs that I've been into, just because again, I think it goes with the whole idea of me being on an uphill. I've really been into Watermelon Sugar by Harry Styles, which is like such a silly and dumb song, but it's just so catchy and upbeat. So I think that is definitely one that I would like kind of play in the background to keep the momentum of the joyish like life span that's going on right now. So that definitely would be one of them. I'm trying to think.
What are some of the words that come to mind in that song? I've never actually heard it. Can you share with me some of the words?
Oh my God, I am the worst with lyrics. It says watermelon sugar. What is the other one? Strawberry skies. Just like very like something about strawberry skies. It feels like it tastes like watermelon sugar. Something about the summer. It literally has like eight words maybe, and I can't even put them into like. We'll have to look it up later because
those are beautiful words, right? That's such a beautiful mantra to find yourself at the edge of an abyss and just saying those words kind of conjures beautiful colors, music. Yeah, so I love that. Yeah, that might have to be your new mantra or something.
Right.
What I do. So I'm a 80s kid. So every time I'm down or anytime I need to get ready to like work out because that's really important to me, I listen to Madonna's Into the Groove. So I have to play it like 3 times, and I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm up. I'm happy. I'm into the groove, and then
I'm ready.
I'm a totally different person, right?
Yeah.
So when we make art, I think that's also very, very much the thing. Although I do say I do prefer listening to melancholic music when I'm making art.
You're right. Something. M. Ward. Do you know M. Ward? Obsessed with M. Ward. I've definitely been listening to his new album, Migrations. So that one, and Torch is my favorite song from that album.
Yeah, I haven't heard that song. I'll listen to it. Yeah, it's the melodicness of it really carries you, right?
Right. I do enjoy making art to his album as well. Yeah.
So while we're talking about the darkness, and you can keep. I don't mean to distract you from your collaging.
From my makings.
From your makings, as we're talking about like the scary images that I coincidentally sent you about these holes.
You really did. You just wanted to scare me away.
With these holes. Now, if we can turn that around, what would you put in those holes? And what would grow from those holes?
Oh, maybe some of that like flowery stuff that I didn't like
or some
Not that I
strawberry
didn't like,
coloring.
but like these guys, like kind of cut out the holes and put this in the background to make like a
Ah.
different image as opposed to like a dark thing.
Yeah,
That might be fun.
yeah. Tell me a little bit about looking at that one particular image the, in the kitchen. Yeah, what about it kind of unsettles you?
It doesn't unsettle me. I just think it's too cookie cutter.
Mm.
It's too happy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm definitely happy, but like that's just too happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's all very like precise. You know, sometimes sometimes you need to have a little bit of grittiness, right? Like it all is the same palette, the same color. Very little is changed.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's pretty for somebody, but not for me.
I love the pink wall. I love the pink walls, I must say. What does your kitchen look like now?
Well, I didn't design my kitchen, but I think it's a lot more in your face. So we have this like Kelly green on one side, like really
Whoa,
obnoxious
cool.
green with some like racer stripes. And then it has like some red like tea towels kind of thing. It's pretty like relaxed. And then on the top of, you know how sometimes on the top there's like space, there's not really like, it's just open. So we have a lot of like just trinkets of all of us, because I live with 2 other people. So all of our like random like art pieces that don't fit anywhere else, or like things that people give you from like when they go on vacation and they bring you a little souvenir. So that's where like all of that like random stuff is. We have a couple of decanters, like it's just very like all over the place, but it kind of works together.
That's so
It's
cool.
not pretty, you know, it's like
It's lived. It's inspired. It's alive.
yeah.
Now, without going into too much detail, can you tell me a little bit about your roommates? Are they artists too?
They are actually. We all work in theater, or that's one of the things I do.
That's beautiful.
But we all work in theater. One of my roommates does wigs, and the other one is a stage manager.
That's so cool. And are you guys all on the same uphill trajectory at the moment, or do you guys find yourself in different stages?
I think we're all in different stages. I've been blessed enough to find other gigs that are not necessarily about theater, but I'm okay with them at the moment, you know? So I think, you know, just being able to get out of the house again and do other things, especially with, you know, how life is right now. So I think for me, it's definitely on the upswing. For my other 2 roommates, I think it's more in the middle. I think
Sure.
it's still hard to, theater's still non-existent except for virtually, and not everything can be done virtually. So
That's really interesting. What do you think are some of the solutions that people can come up with for that? I know a lot of people are doing like Zoom theater and like trying to do really cool interactive things. What's your take on that?
I think it's fun for our brain. But as someone who has now, because I didn't go to school for theater. I kind of just fell into it and I really enjoy it now. So for someone who now knows the experience of live theater, to see it through like your TV screen, because it's not a movie. It's like people interacting, like whether real time or recorded. It's not the same feeling, and also a lot of the actors feedback from the gasps and the claps and of the audience. So I think it's good for our brain to keep working, but I don't fully enjoy it as a wholeheartedly permanent thing. It is going to be a permanent thing, I believe, because it's an easy way to do so many more things now, right? Readings, you don't have to be in the same room, which is also like a big thing. You don't have to fly to, you know, London or Canada or whatever if you need to start a project. But for the end goal, I don't think it's I don't like it.
Yeah, that's tough. That's really tough. Did you go to art school?
Yeah, fashion design. So I studied fashion design. I worked in the fashion industry for about 5 years, but it's growth to where really what I want to do. You shouldn't be having I just want to make art, as silly as that sounds. Able to do, and I've been able to do a couple art shows here and there, like small local ones, but it's nice to do that and do commissions. And um, I'm making a bridal dress for my friend. Like, I kind of just want to of how you touch someone with something you create, as opposed to masses. It's great for the masses, but I think at the end of the day, like, met settings.
Yeah, and other than you in your hand, what do they all have in common? All of these creative endeavors, like what's at the essence of them?
That it's something tangible and see the result right away.
I love that. That's amazing. And what is like your dream project right now?
My dream project.
Like once everything gets back to normal and you can fly anywhere in the world, what project do you want to dive into?
Ooh, I was thinking about something different, but wait, and I'll say what I was thinking about. One of my biggest goals is to have a solo exhibit at the Mass Mocha. I don't know if you've ever been.
I know the Mass. I haven't been there. I've read the book about it. Amazing. Wow.
It is such a beautiful space. And I've been saying it for a couple of years, and I just need to keep saying it for it to happen, because I do believe in the power of putting it out there so that it'll come to you. You know, I'm like, yeah, I'm rich. I'm always rich. No worries.
Maybe that's why you're in your upswing, right?
I think so. I really do.
I do too. Now, if you can imagine, and you're about to open the door of the Mass Mocha to your solo show, what's on view?
What's on view? That I'm showing, or that I'm seeing? I'm showing.
Yeah.
There's this piece that I really hate. It's like a huge, like, let's say 10 glass, layers of glass, maybe 7 layers of glass, and they're all in different colors. And it's kind of like a kaleidoscope, and each like that creates a kaleidoscope has a letter, a number, and an odd a shape that means something, not necessarily to anyone, but to the piece itself. And I want it to hang from the ceiling, and I want people to be able to come underneath the piece and see how all the colors make a certain color in the bottom. And then kind of be able to walk around it and understand that all these layers create the water they're laying on their back. So that's this like piece that like I really want to make. So that would be the opening.
Love that. Wow. Yeah,
I need money and time and people for it, but it's gonna happen.
Well, it sounds like you've got the visualization of it down.
I think so.
That's amazing. What else is going to be on view?
I've been really into drawing like silhouettes of the women body shape. So I've been doing that a lot in the like last 2 years or so. So kind of just more incorporation of that and backgrounds of whatever I guess in the moment I would be feeling, or maybe the main piece and cuts. I use like a rope technique, like rope technique that I use to make cuts. So it's very like textured. I got into glitter watercolor, which I think is amazing. So that's a fun little like, my friend's parents gifted me watercolor, glitter watercolor, and I was like, I need to buy more. So I did.
That's so interesting. I'm looking at the material behind you in the products you have behind you, and what you got instantly attracted to in the collage kit, which were both kind of fibrous earth elements.
Earth tones.
And now
Yeah.
you were like mixing that with glitter. So that's a really interesting combination.
Yeah, very like awkward at the same time, no.
Yeah, is that intentional?
No, I guess not. I think it just kind of, and now I'm like, huh, interesting, you know,
Yeah,
when things kind of just like do on their own.
yeah, I love it. I think there's something there really interesting. This kind of juxtaposition of flat, right? Because it almost looks like hemp or what do you call it? Burlap, right? Which is kind of like dense,
Mm-hmm.
dry, opposed to
Mm-hmm.
glitter, which is like ethereal. What a fun combination.
Yeah.
And as an artist, what are some of the rules you're breaking as far as fashion?
Um, as far as fashion, I think I break all the rules, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do enjoy dressing up and like making things patterns that don't go put together. I'm obsessed with Converse. And so
I've
sometimes
noticed that, yeah.
and so sometimes I will wear like two different colors. There's like hair that like is this exactly the same, do kind of that kind of stuff. Um just really my wardrobe's very colorful. My little
I love it.
so yeah, and I mean even in my nails I always do two colors. So like it's never one color. I feel like that's too, it doesn't speak to who I am.
I love that. Well, in thinking of momentum, thinking about staying in this uphill, it almost looks like you've gotten your armor, right? You have your armor of color, you have your armor of footgear, you have your armor of textures. They kind of give you this strength to kind of stay in the up and up. How does that sound?
Yeah, I actually really like the way you explain that.
You know,
Like it's what keeps me afloat even if I'm not.
yeah. You're familiar with Frida Kahlo, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Frida used to wear a lot of jewelry, which is, something that I do myself.
Uh-huh.
So, she had polio, so she had one leg longer than the other. So she had to
Yes.
walk with crutches or walk very slowly. But you can always hear her coming because of her jewelry. And someone asked her, like, why? Like, why? Why do you wear so much damn jewelry? Doesn't it weigh you down? And she's like, no, it's my armor. So this idea
Yes.
like, wow, right, like, she's this, her body, her physical body is feeble, but she has armored herself with things that enliven her soul. It's always been such an exciting thing to think about. And
That
it
is.
seems
I
like
don't know
that's
that I've
living.
ever thought about it that way. I'm gonna have to start saying that now. It's my
Yeah,
armor.
it
Because
really
it
feels like
is.
it really feels like it looking
It
at you.
really is.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
What else are you collaging over there?
Well, I'm trying to cut out the holes how we spoke, but it's like not, it's not a very good hole, so I'm gonna try it again.
That
But
is so fun.
jagged.
Well, you know what's happening now. You've totally turned it into something kind of humorous.
Like, but it's just so like I'm gonna try. Let's see how it goes. Maybe I just need to. And I do want to put like this thing in the background so that it's a completely different color. But I cut the map in a circle.
Nice.
So I'm kind of in the.
Did you do that freehand?
No, I got my tools.
Nice. I was gonna say, whoa, you got a sturdy hand over there. Oh,
Will,
so brilliant. Yes, that is a perfect tip. That is a perfect tool. Any lid, any cup, any dish.
I was glad in case different size circles.
Oh,
Because
you're
I
good.
do like circles, but I don't like holes. So it's a
Yeah,
very
I get
contradictory
it.
lane of mine, I suppose.
I get it. But I love how you kind of turned that scary hole into a kind of a funny looking hole. That's a little less threatening.
It is, but I'm gonna try to make it better.
Now, do you feel there's a mission at the basis of your art practice right now?
Well, I think with what you were saying, exploring that abyss, but also how you were saying, and then with like how you spoke earlier with the glitter. So now I'm trying to understand like where I'm actually feeling, maybe I'm just kidding myself that I am on the up and up. And not that maybe I'm not, but also like more in the sense of like, are you just pushing yourself more so that you don't feel the lows at the moment? So just by the images that I pulled, like this one where I'm like, oh, the abyss, and then this one's kind of like strange, and then the holes, but we want to make them pretty now with the pretty pictures I didn't like, combining like those like darker feelings with feelings that I didn't like in the beginning, but maybe now I'm like, maybe I do want a little bit of pretty.
Yeah, let me ask you, do you think you would be able to get your show at the Mass Mocha and create that elaborate, amazing sculpture from either of these places, either the low or the high? Would you be able to reach that same place, or is one contingent to the other?
I think I would be able to reach it whether I'm in a high or low. I think the outcome would be slightly different color wise. I think would be a very depending whether I was in a high or low, what colors I would use, I think, but the final product would be the same. I've been thinking about this project for about 6 months. Like it I was in Poughkeepsie in this farm, and like the trees and the colors and the clouds and the sunset, and there was like a vast of land, and all of that kind of like correlated, and I saw the colors. It was just so beautiful. And so I just ended up seeing it and understanding it, and I was like, this is what I want to incorporate this, but in a completely different way. So it's been in my brain for about 6 months, and so it's something that I want to do eventually at some point when I have the the manpower for it, because I know it's going to be a really big crazy thing.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, I'd even love to see how you can stretch that out into multiple projects as well. But can you tell me a little bit about the last time you remember feeling this high? What was that like?
It was different. It was a different high. But I mean, I guess it's always a different high, right?
Yeah.
Metaphorically, physically, drug-wise, like
kind of. Yeah, it's always a different high, but it's always from under your feet, right? It's always from where you're standing.
Yeah.
But yeah, what did that feel like? And yeah.
I think that one felt more of like a stability high. More like I had reached a certain part of my life where I was like, oh, this is a great, a great career path for me, which I think is when I started theater, like when I really got into theater. That was like the last momentous high. And then I was like, this is great because it allows me not only to do theater, but it also allows me to do art and do art shows on the side, and I can still sustain myself. So I think it was a stability.
And how did that change? How did that come to a lower than a high?
Well, it became stagnant, and I'm a very like, it became repetitive. I don't like repetitiveness. I get which is why I've done, I think, a million different things in an art form or whatever, a million different jobs at different statures. And so I think it became stagnant, and then the pandemic hit. So then I was like, okay, cool, great. So not doing anything for a year. But I did make a lot of art, and I learned different techniques within my own practice. It was a lot of fun. I sanded some branches and made hands. Like I got a lot more, not more hands-on, but more gritty or dirty kind of thing. So, and now I think the high that I'm in is more of a chaotic high, but not in a bad way.
Yeah. How so? That's a great word. What makes it chaotic, do you think?
Because there's so many things happening. Like there's this thing that I'm doing that's great. I'm doing this other thing and this thing, and then they don't necessarily all go together, but they're all like making different parts of my being rise.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I mean, what's interesting, just hearing you talk, it really sounds like you are the creator of your own momentum. Even though, this little thing called pandemic happened and everybody was locked home, you were still moving. You were still, kind of chasing your carrot, your tail, and I think that's key. That is key for anyone to survive, right? Because you're not dependent on external factors. You're kind of relying on your internal resources.
Yeah, kind of just like starting and like within myself and my being. I mean, there are definitely moments when I didn't do anything and sat on the couch and watched TV for hours, for sure.
Which for an artist is actually work, honestly, because we never turn off our minds, So even if you're just on the couch for 7 hours, you're doing research. That's what I like to say.
You're like, ooh, those colors. Ooh,
yeah, exactly.
The way that flows. No, I know. Yeah.
I was really lucky. I went to art camp when I was a kid, and it was like really intense art camp. And I was in the photography department, but we also had to take smaller classes, and we had to take like a writer's workshop. And the teacher would say, "Oh, my writers have 4 hours between classes for a break because they need their time to just wander, to just think." And I'm like, wow, right. Like you really need to block out that time to just re-inspire yourself. And it's not being lazy. It's not being anything but recharging, I think there's so much power in that.
Thinking within yourself.
Well, because I think there's some guilt that comes along to just sitting stagnant sometimes.
Yes, there's so much guilt.
And that's the problem. I think if you can just sit there and kind of just let things come to you and you process them without the guilt, you'll get so much further. I wanted to say ahead, but it's not about getting ahead. It's just about being recharged. But yeah, I think that's really important. So yeah, veg out.
Right? Just all these random shows.
Yeah. So we have about 14 more minutes. So put some finishing touches on your collage, and then I'd love to see it. You don't have to finish, but I just want to see how far along you are, and see what that would look like. Now, one more question maybe that I'm always curious is like, who would change your art career right now? Like if you had the opportunity to meet anyone other than Oprah, who would change your art career right now?
Well, I was also going to say dead or alive.
Either. Yeah, they can be dead.
They can be dead. Oh God, who would change my career? Creations. I'm gonna have to think for a second.
Yeah. Sit with it. It could also just be a job title, like a curator or a marketer, an influencer.
Oh God, no! I could never be an influencer.
I know there's a lot that goes with that.
There is a lot that goes with that, and I feel it's just I like wouldn't be able to do all the things that I would want to do because you have to appeal your audience so much of the time, right? And then you lose your audience if you change your route and then you have to be okay with that as well, but then that's another low that you have to be willing to partake within that field.
Do you think success in art comes with that kind of responsibility too?
Oh yes, 100%.
Yeah. So you think you have to be kind of, how so?
Because the way that your art changes is the audience that you get, right? It's just keeping within that same realm.
Yeah.
Who would change my art world? Oh goodness gracious, I'm thinking so hard right now.
It's really easy.
That's so easy. That's the
Well, if you can't think of an answer, I can give you one. And it'll be like a Mr. Rogers moment.
a Mr. Rogers moment. I mean, Mr. Rogers would be actually a great person to
Right?
I'm here for Mr. Rogers. If
And
Mr. Rogers can help me with my career, I
what
am
would he say? He takes
all about it.
Cynthia, all you need is you.
Oh, get out of here. I mean, not wrong. Not wrong.
You asked for it.
Mr. Rogers would say that. You're right.
I love Mr. Rogers. Are you ready to share?
Almost. I need one more thing. Give me 1 second. I'm almost there.
Take your time. Take your time.
I'm freaking out.
I love your jacket.
Thank you. It's a chiffon blazer.
Oh my god.
Right?
Is chiffon warm? Is it breathable?
It is breathable because it's sheer.
Okay.
So it's not terrible. Ooh, I got it. Okay, hold on. Wait, which one? That one?
I only ask because when I buy clothes, it's usually very thick, and I don't like to feel too warm, you know.
You feel chiffon is thick, is what you said?
No, usually when I buy clothes that's like kind of colorful, it usually comes weighted because men's clothes.
Really?
Men's clothes is usually very structured.
That's true.
So I always see women in that women or clothes designed for women usually have.
Yeah.
An
I would
airy
definitely
feel.
say look into like linen. Linen can also be in
I love linen.
a good linen. I would also say Scotch and Soda is that store, and if you know it, I mean they're on the pricey side, but they have really cool, crazy designs for both men and women.
I do love them. I live right next to one of their stores. That's so funny.
Oh, you do, you're right. I've been to your building.
Yeah, you have to come over. I'm gonna leave soon.
All right. Are you really? Where are you going?
Oh, who knows? My lease is up soon, so I'm.
Where are you going?
Who knows? We're ready to explore, you know. We're definitely going to Mexico. Mexico's very fun.
Oh.
And actually, when you said
linen, you were.
Yeah, I was there, and when you said linen, it took me.
You were there recently.
Yeah. Have you ever had linen sheets?
No. How are they?
So when we were in Mexico at the Airbnb we stayed at, they had linen sheets, and it was the most like refreshing hug because it's so hot over there. Like it just felt so right.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it.
I'll definitely come visit you there. My cousin has an apartment in the El Distrito. So
I love this.
Yes. I'm ready.
Show me.
I'm so scared.
Oh wow. That's not dark at all. Tell me about it.
Well, let's see. Well, we started with this piece, right? Because this is what I was feeling, like looking into the abyss, the unknown. But then I remembered how much I really enjoy Storm King Art Center and that like squiggly grass piece. I was like, I want some in that, because regardless of like whether I'm up or down, I, for the most part, can always have like some type of like joy in my life. And these, well, because they freak me out, I was like, I need to put them there to, you know how there's like face your fears. So I think that was like one of those moments, you know? So, and this because it's pretty.
Oh, I love that. That really does say so much about our conversation. Thank you for being so open. I see, I see how much you love that balance of the dark and the light, because you're committed to the darkness
Yeah,
because it feeds you, but you're also committed to the
I
beauty.
think it does.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah,
I love that. So,
it really does.
and looking back at our conversation, I think, we were talking about momentum initiating the conversation, and I think you are the key to your own momentum from what you've told me. You have the armor, you have the mantra. What is it? Watermelon, sugar.
Watermelon sugar. I
So chant that when you're feeling down. That'll give you the upswing. But Cynthia, I had such a great time. Do you have any comments or any other questions or
Me too. No, I've had a great time too. This has been really lovely, and you know, going back onto like our therapy collage session, this is speaking it out and cutting and making, and how you said working with your hands. I mean, we're both artists, so we already both work with our hands and talk with our hands a lot. I'm over here like, but it actually like helped me see things that I didn't know were there.
Oh, I'm so happy.
So
Yeah,
this
you
is
have that power.
this is weird.
I love
This
it.
is really weird,
I
but really
enjoyed it.
beautiful at the same time.
Cynthia, you have a great day.
Thank you. You too. This was beautiful.